Hello and welcome to all you magnificent sky watchers out there. Here comes the favor of monarchs, coming from the brightness in the head of Orion the Hunter in Lunar Mansion Number 5, spanning from the end of Taurus to the beginning of Gemini. So it's from the last portion of the Bull to the very beginning of the Twins. Orion occupies a part of Gemini in addition to an area of space atop the constellation of Lepus the Rabbit underneath Taurus. Orion is a huntsman that pursues Lepus the hare with his hunting dogs to help him with stalking Lepus, naming his two hounds Canis Major and Canis Minor. And now, here is your weekly Mansions of the Moon Signs Horoscope from the 15th to the 21st of August 2022. Mansions of the Moon Signs, waning gibbous moon on August 15th to the 18th. A waning half moon in Taurus at 4:36 a.m. That's August 19th. And then we have a waning crescent moon, August 28th to 21st. This transits through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and this is tropical astrology, universal time coordinated. Use receptive imaginings, pictures, films, advertising, or magic during a waning gibbous, half, or crescent moon. Now, here is your daily Mansion of the Moon magic. This is your lunar mansions, the angels and lords thereof. And this is the astrology guidance for the week of August 15th to the 21st, beginning with August 15th in Aries, waning gibbous moon in Lunar Mansion Number 2 at 1911 hours, advantageous for locating and retrieving jewelry and other expensive riches, as well as making audacious moves to better yourself or those in your charge. Also, beneficial for securing detainees. Beware that rivals wanting to cause rebellion in your ranks, like mutiny, that kind of thing, often attempt to exploit such opportunities during this mansion. Okay, very important. Utilize the picture or emblem of a king sporting a crown atop his head. Okay, for during this mansion, such a rendering causes reunion and good understanding with a crown prince. From the belly of Aries, in the constellation of Aries the Ram, with lunar angel Anediel and Lord Enedil. Lord Enedil. Now we're going to move to August 16th. And on August 16th, we have a waning gibbous moon in Aries, and also it spans to Taurus. So Aries to Taurus, waning gibbous. This mansion, number 3, it's from the end of Aries to the beginning of Taurus. And this occurs, the moon is going to transit into ingress to this mansion in the waning gibbous form at 1826 hours. It's profitable for enchanters, all you magicians and enchanters out there, chemists, pharmacists, sailors, and sportsmen, hunters, trappers, and poachers. Use depictions or symbols of a richly dressed lady reclining in a valuable chair, resting her right arm casually above her head, for this representation causes anyone viewing it to become joyful, wealthy, and acquiring all one desires. From the rainy ones, or those that reign, or the Pleiades in the constellation of Taurus the Bull, with lunar angel Amixiel and Lord Annuncia. This mansion was used in the Addams family, where Tisha Addams, lying in her bed with her hand over her head, when she didn't want the sun to come in, and Gomez shut the blinds with his sword and said, "En garde, Monsieur Soleil." And her plant by her bed kind of wilted when the sun came in. That was when they used this position in this mansion. It's also used in a slightly different format for the Empress in the tarot deck. Okay. August 17th, we have a Taurus waning gibbous moon in Lunar Mansion Number 4. At 1828 hours, beneficial to find safety in reinforcing your structures. Beware competitors seeking revenge, separation, hatred, and malice. Dreadful for married people and relationships in general, so make sure you safeguard against that. Now, reptiles will run away during this mansion. Beware an image of a soldier riding upon a horse, brandishing a snake in his right hand, for this picture or icon causes the one projecting such magic to obtain revenge, or to cause others to seek vengeance, to break up marriages or relationships, to generate enmity, to create spitefulness. Again, the best thing to do to stay out of trouble is to work on strengthening and fortifying your constructs and your edifices during this mansion. This is from the head of Taurus and the constellation of Taurus the Bull with lunar angel Azariel and Lord Asares. Actually, the very reason I came to do lunar mansions in the first place was because one day, it happened to be the 23rd of the month when it happened, and this mansion came into effect. And somebody tried to give my husband and I a hard time in one of the big box stores, okay? Because I was wearing a Catholic miraculous medal around my neck, and somebody that was against Catholics came up and tried to harass me and my husband and gave us a real hard time. And I stood my ground and told him, I made him back down because I wanted to protect, you know, myself and my husband, and my husband was kind of off looking at something else, so I just sort of backed the guy down. Him and his girlfriend just backed him down. I just told him off, you know. So it was kind of a bad scene, you know. And I was going to press charges, but then, you know, he apologized, so then I dropped the charges, yeah. Because he kind of assaulted us, yeah. So basically, I went and looked at the lunar mansion. It was this one. And I was thinking that we should go into City Mill and look at some construction stuff to reinforce our house before we went into this other store. And that's what we should have done. Or we should have stayed home and built our house more, like reinforced our house or reinforced our garden wall or something like that instead of running out and about on that day. Because it was the 23rd, which is always a powerful day. My daughter does those numbers each month on Facebook. But basically, it was also this mansion, okay? And ever since then, I wanted to know everything about Lunar Mansion because it was a bad scene. It was bad, okay? I didn't like going through that at all. Now, where this is used in, anyways, that's how I got so interested in Lunar Mansions, because it works, you know? And when the moon is in its receptive phase, people come towards you. Like that day, he came towards us. On a projective phase, you'd be more likely to go out towards somebody else with either a polite or not so polite, you know, conversation, okay? So that's how it works. When it's waning, it comes to you. When it's waxing, you go to it. Projective, you go to it. Waning, receptive, it comes to you. That's how it works. All right, now, all right. This was used in the movie Star Wars, the first one, where Princess Leia was threatened with an injection, a needle, which is the symbol of a snake. Remember the soldiers having a snake in his hand, being on a horse? Okay, she was captured by the stormtroopers, right? The guys in the white outfits, okay? And they brought in one of those, it was like a droid, which symbolizes the horse of the soldiers, okay? And the injection was the snake, because the snake is always symbolized an injection, and injection symbolizes a snake. And even there's some books that are by Zecharia Sitchin that mentions that. When it talks about Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, mentions that. Anyway, so that's when the Death Star was beginning of Star Wars. Remember, they were in the Death Star. That was in the beginning scene of Star Wars with the injection and the droid. They're using this mansion and that image of the horse and the soldier riding atop the horse and the snake in his hand. That's the military droid with the injection threatening Princess Leia. Okay. Now, also besides that, also the planet she was from that was destroyed was named Aldebaran. Okay. And the name of the mansion and the pointer star in the head of Taurus, and for this mansion right here, number 4, is Aldebaran. That's the name of the mansion, meaning the follower. And Princess Leia followed Han Solo and those people. Yeah, she followed them. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And Aldebaran is the name of the pointer star of this mansion. And the name of the mansion is Aldebaran. But just they separate the Al and the Debaran in the mansion, and Aldebaran is not separated, the Al and the Debaran in the star's name, okay? So just so you know, they do use these things in movies all the time. They're used constantly. It's used for tarot cards, it's used for plays, advertising, It's movies, you know, it's been religious iconography has been used since the beginning of time, since Babylon. It's been being used, and it's still being used to this day. So understand it. You can use it for your good. And I have protected myself against these kind of bad events by using the lunar mansions and paying attention to the numerology that my daughter does on Facebook. Okay. Now, August 18th, Taurus, waning gibbous moon to Gemini moon in Lunar Mansion Number 5. 19-14 hours valuable for gaining good health and the favor of kings and his court, and to become influential as well as to receive all good things for which you ask. Acquire high esteem for your good marriage by generating icons of these good affairs and project them into your universe. Okay? Beware rendering showing the devastation of casual lovers, for this rendering will devastate your careless relationships. The traditional picture for this mansion is the icon of a man's head, used to gain the help and esteem of sovereigns, monarchs, and constables, as well as to gain access to theaters, plays, and concerts. From the white spot in the stars that span from the end of the constellation of Taurus to the beginning of Gemini with lunar angel Gabriel and Lord Cabil. So, now, what you need to understand is that the Catholic Church takes care of its own, and the veil of Saint Veronica, of Jesus's face, with his image on the gauze or whatever, the gossamer cloth that Saint Veronica placed when he was being walking to his crucifixion, carrying his cross, and he had the blood on his face and the sweat and the dirt and all that and the oil, and that all went on to make an image of his face on the cloth of Saint Veronica. Okay, it's a image of Jesus's face. That's the same exact image for this mansion, that kind of image of a man's face. So that's what the Catholics use that. It brings you all good things when you use this image. And I've told this a million times, I'll say it again. I have this image in a place where my husband can see it, even though he's not Catholic, but I told him about it and he likes it, you know, because I told him what the benefits are. So I put it where he can see it, and he's been getting so many job offers and promotion offers that he can't even keep up with it. So he has to say no to a lot of offers, but this mansion really brings that kind of thing to you. You know, this image. Now again, this is during a waning moon. You want to receive the image. You want to gaze upon it. When the moon's projecting, you can put it where you can like hang the picture on the wall or make a video. And then when it's waning, you see it, you watch it for yourself. Okay? It's like that. So just think about that. Okay? Now, August 19th, waning half moon in Taurus at 4:36 a.m., occurring in the aforementioned fifth mansion of the moon, which spans from the end of Taurus to the beginning of Gemini, before waning crescent moon moves into Lunar Mansion Number 6, spanning from the beginning of Gemini the Twins to the middle of the Twins, several hours later at 20:36 hours. Profitable for successful hunting as well as conquest of towns and villages. Doctors are stopped from applying their trade during this mansion. Beware sons of sovereigns seeking vengeance and those that desire to destroy your harvests and businesses. Watch out for love-hate relationships. Use the icon of two people embracing each other to guarantee love between these two that you choose. From the little star of great light in the constellation of Gemini the Twins with lunar angel Drachia and Lord Nedeyerahe. Now, if you look at the scene from Star Wars that we mentioned with Princess Leia, understand that they were not allowed, they were stopped from injecting Princess Leia because she was rescued before they could inject her. That was this mansion here. And that's where you have doctors are stopped from performing their trade, okay? So they're stopped from applying their trade. That was the stopping of the physician of the physician of the Death Star from being the military physician from being able to inject Princess Leia with that injection. Okay, that was stopping a physician from applying his trade. This is now the sixth mansion, and that the one before was earlier. That's number 4. See, and love-hate relationships. Princess Leia and Han Solo had a love-hate relationship. Did they not? They did. Therefore, you see movies, they often do it in sequence. That's really what they do. They do it in sequence. They do the lunar mansions in sequence, okay? That's what they do, in sequence, right on down the line, okay? So understand that. And if you're making a movie, you can do it too, okay? That's the real secret of, and that they do it in commercials, and they do it in sitcoms, and they do it on the news. It's done everywhere. They do it in stories. It's done everywhere and everything, because the mansions of the moon are the secret power. And that's why they tell you not to use the moon card and to throw it away if the whole divination away if the moon card shows up, that it's evil, and that, you know, women are evil, and the moon's evil, and the women's lunar cycles are evil. It's not so. It's the true power. So they tell women that, so that women hate themselves and don't know their own power, and then they use it in secret, and that's why men have power and women don't. Okay? So that's the way it works. You have to, if a woman wants to have power, she has to understand it and use her own cycle to her benefit. And when Jesus told, he went to the woman and that was bleeding and healed her, yada yada. When he didn't go to heal her. She touched his robe. He didn't even see her. She touched his robe. Her faith healed her. She knew she would be healed. But what really happened was a setup, because what really happened was the Kabbalists use women in certain phases of the moon to bring out certain daemons, D-A-E-M-O-N-S, or is it D-E-A or D-A-E? I can't remember. It's daemon. That's where the word demon comes from. It's a spirit. They bring out certain demons from themselves, okay? Jesus was pulling a certain demon out of himself, so he used that woman. And when it pulled out of him, then she was let out of whatever spirit he had cast upon, a spell upon her, and she was freed from the spirit that he pulled out of, that was able to be pulled out of him by using that woman's lunar mansion cycle. She was a blood moon, okay? That's the way it works. Now, August 20th, that's kind of stuff's in the Zohar, if you want to read about that. Now, August 20th, we have a Gemini waning crescent moon in Lunar Mansion Number 7 at 22:25 hours, brings loyalty and trust betwixt associates and partners. Beware the annihilation of legal systems and justice. Gets rid of Lord of the Flies and his minions. Okay? Use an icon of a man or a woman lifting her hands up to heaven, requesting help from heaven to gain plenty of superior high-quality goods and services, relationships, and properties. From the arm of Gemini and the constellation of Gemini the Twins with lunar angel Sekelia and Lord Ciele or Selehe. Okay? Now, when people pray like this, they're being masculine. That's a masculine symbol. You're not going to receive anything. You're going to be giving. Okay? When you do this, you're receiving. That's the receptive sign. That's this mansion. When you do that, all good things come to you. Okay? Before I saw anything about the lunar mansions, I was watching the news once, and I remember they had an Islamic style messiah, like type person wearing the robes and the hooded robe on his head. He looked like Jesus, but he was wearing a hooded robe, and he was doing that. It was very beautiful, but it brings all good things to you. Just so you understand. This, masculine. If you want to give, do this. You'll be the one giving. You want to do this, you'll be the one receiving. Make sense? Capiche? Capiche. Now, August 21st, Gemini waning crescent moon in I see. It continues in Lunar Mansion Number 7, the one we just mentioned, for the entire 24 hours. Same as Lunar Mansion for the 20th, being Lunar Mansion Number 7. So the one we just said earlier on the 20th, number 7, the one we just talked about, this and all that. Same mansion all day long on the 7th for the whole 24 hours. Won't go away to the next day on the 22nd. Won't be going away. So the 7th, you do the same thing as you did on the, the 7th mansion on the 21st of August, and that's the same as what you did for the 7th mansion on the 20th of August. Now for some important, muy importante resources for Lunar Mansion magic and transits. We get our information, our study sources. Number 1, Picatrix. This is according to Maslama al-Majriti. It's who came up with all this wonderful information about the angels and the lords and the magic and the symbols. Okay? And the second book, 3 books of occult philosophy by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Nedisham, and that's from the 1553, I think, or 1533, something like that, but it's the 1600s. And also, the third, the one I use every day, The Mansions of the Moon, a Lunar Zodiac for Astrology and Magic by Christopher Warnock, published by Renaissance Astrology. And the 3 books of occult philosophy is by Llewellyn. I believe Renaissance Astrology has a Picatrix, I believe. But you can get it online. A lot of these books you can get a free PDF online, and you can also do that with the Fixed Stars and Constellation Astrology by Robson, which I talk about in some of my when I talk about the lunar mansions and the star magic and the wish upon a star magic that we talk about, and the magical talismans and the wish upon a star magic. So check that out too. All right, thanks for joining us. Join us again next week, and we'll see you soon.